Luxury fountains, billion-dollar casinos, and a city that swapped $1 buffets for global glamour. This is the dream Steve Wynn sold to Las Vegas. But beneath the shine is a story most people never heard. A young man shouldering $350,000 in gambling debt, fighting to take control of a city fueled by risk. In just one decade, he turned a rundown casino into a gold mine and pulled off the $630 million Mirage gamble everyone thought would fail. Yet by the time Bellagio opened at $1.6 billion, regulars couldn't afford to play. We know the legend, but what really happened to the man who built Las Vegas? And why did it all come crashing down? Steve Wynn was just 21 when his father's sudden death left him staring down $350,000 in gambling debts, a sum that would break most families, let alone a college kid with no business degree. Law school plans disappeared overnight. He took over the family's bingo parlor, working every shift and counting every dollar until the debts were paid. There are no court records or bank ledgers to show how each loan was settled. But by every account, Wynn refused to walk away or declare bankruptcy. He hustled, expanded the bingo business, and made good on every cent. Friends and rivals in Maryland remember him as the kid who never missed a payment, even when creditors circled and the odds looked impossible. By 1967, Wynn was in Las Vegas, using connections from the bingo world and a few lucky land deals to buy a small stake in the Frontier Hotel. The real breakthrough came with the Golden Nugget. In the early 1970s, he scraped together enough to buy a controlling interest in the aging downtown casino. At just 31, he became the youngest majority owner on Fremont Street. The Golden Nugget wasn't glamorous. It was a smoky, worn-out relic from the city's mob days. Wynn saw something else, a blank canvas. He poured money into renovations, hired top chefs, and booked big names like Frank Sinatra. The risk paid off. The Golden Nugget became the hottest ticket downtown, drawing in celebrities and high rollers and putting Wynn on the map as a showman with a gambler's nerve. By the late 1980s, Wynn had transformed the Golden Nugget into a 4-diamond property, then pulled off a massive sale of its Atlantic City sister casino for $440 million. That windfall gave him the firepower and the credibility to chase bigger dreams on the Strip. Investors who once saw him as a long shot now lined up to back his next move. Wynn's reputation was built not on luck, but on a relentless work ethic and a willingness to bet everything on himself. The debts were gone, but the hunger to build and to win was just getting started. The Mirage opened its doors in November 1989, drawing a crowd of 40,000 in just the first half hour. The $630 million price tag made it the most expensive hotel ever built on the Strip, and none of it would have happened without a Wall Street gamble. Michael Milken put together the junk bond financing that most bankers called reckless, but Wynn pushed forward anyway. To keep the lights on, the Mirage had to pull in $1 million a day in profit. Within weeks, it was doing just that. Las Vegas saw a 16% jump in visitors the following year, and the old world of smoky backrooms and cheap buffets faded fast. Wynn didn't stop at spectacle. He brought in Siegfried and Roy, built a volcano that erupted every hour and filled the lobby with palm trees and waterfalls. The Mirage wasn't just a casino, it was a theme park for grown-ups. But the real transformation came with Treasure Island. In 1993, pirate battles exploded on the Strip and families started coming to Vegas for the first time. Wynn teamed up with Cirque du Soleil's Guy Laliberté, launching a show that would become a global phenomenon. The partnership was risky, with creative arguments over budgets and vision, but the gamble paid off. Cirque's acrobats and pyrotechnics packed the theater every night, and the Strip became a playground for spectacle. Then came Bellagio in 1998. At one point, $6 billion, it set a new standard for luxury. The lobby ceiling was covered in glass flowers by Dale Chihuly, and the fountains out front danced to classical music. Wynn negotiated for months to bring in original Picassos and Monets, turning the casino into an art gallery. The average room rate jumped to $200 a night, unheard of for Vegas. Bellagio's opening night was a parade of celebrities and billionaires. For the first time, the Strip felt like it belonged to the world's elite, not just gamblers chasing a lucky streak. But for every guest dazzled by the fountains, there were thousands who felt left behind. Longtime regulars watched as table minimums crept higher and comps disappeared. The dream of Vegas, as everyman's playground, was fading, replaced by a city that catered to those who could afford to play big. Wynn's vision had turned Las Vegas into a global capital of luxury, but the price of admission kept rising, and the city's soul was starting to slip away. In the year 2000, Steve Wynn shocked the industry by selling Mirage Resorts to MGM for $6.6 billion, a deal that handed over his crown jewels, but left him with the kind of war chest few casino bosses ever see. Instead of retiring, he bought the Desert Inn, bulldozed it, and poured $2.7 billion into building Wynn Las Vegas. The opening in 2005 wasn't just another new resort. It was a statement. Every inch, from the private lakes to the $10,000 a night villas, screamed exclusivity. Wynn's team scoured the globe for rare art, high thread count linens, and the kind of service that made guests feel like royalty. But the real money was waiting across the Pacific. Wynn Macau opened in 2006, and by the time Wynn Palace launched in 2016, with a $4.1 billion price tag, Macau was bringing in 76% of the company's revenue. Chinese high rollers arrived by the plane load, dropping more in a weekend than most Americans earned in a year. The numbers were staggering, but the culture was changing too. Table minimums soared. Longtime Vegas regulars found themselves priced out, while corporate memos and investor calls talked about premium mass and VIP focus. Free drinks and cheap rooms faded away. For the first time, Las Vegas felt like it belonged to someone else, a global elite with money to burn and no nostalgia for the old days. Wynn's empire was at its peak, but the city's soul was slipping further from the people who built it. On January 26, 2018, reporters at the Wall Street Journal published a story that would end Steve Wynn's reign overnight. Their investigation, built on more than 150 interviews, laid out a pattern of sexual misconduct allegations spanning decades, forced acts, secret settlements, and a culture of silence at the very top. One settlement alone, paid to a manicurist, totaled $7.5 million in 2005 and was buried through layers of shell companies. Wynn denied every accusation, but the damage was instant. Within days, Wynn Resort stock lost 18% of its value, wiping out $2 billion from the company's market cap. Board members resigned. Emergency meetings ran late into the night, and the man who once ruled the Strip stepped down as CEO and chairman just 2 weeks after the story broke. Regulators in Nevada and Massachusetts launched parallel investigations. The Nevada Gaming Control Board filed a 5-count complaint tracing failures to report allegations all the way back to 2005. The Massachusetts Gaming Commission's 200-page report revealed internal emails, HR records, and testimony from over 100 employees. The penalties landed hard: $20 million in Nevada, $35 million in Massachusetts, the largest fines in state gaming history. Shareholders sued and won a $70 million settlement. In 2023, Steve Wynn himself agreed to pay a $10 million fine and accepted a lifetime ban from holding a gaming license in Nevada. For the first time, the empire's fate rested not with its founder, but with the courts and regulators who now held all the cards. In 2018, the Wall Street Journal's investigation led to $2 billion wiped from Wynn Resort's value and triggered record fines totaling $55 million. The evidence showed Steve Wynn's vision transformed Las Vegas, from $1 buffets to billion-dollar landmarks like Bellagio and Wynn Palace. But the same drive that built these empires also led to a culture where misconduct went unreported for years. While official reports from regulators detail settlements as high as $7.5 million and a personal fine of $10 million, many internal communications about who knew what and when remain undisclosed. Today, Wynn's name is gone from awards and leadership, but the resorts and policies he inspired still shape the Strip. The facts show that Las Vegas was built on both ambition and risk, not just in its casinos, but in the lives touched by those who ran them. The city's future now depends on learning from the cost of its own reinvention.